It was supposed to be a peaceful family trip. You know, the kind of getaway where you're trying to rebuild something that deep down, you already know is cracked. But what happened on that mountain resort made everything crystal clear. We had just arrived at the lodge, high in the Smoky Mountains, with her whole entitled family. Her father, Donald, her mother, Gloria, her two perfect sisters who never liked me, and of course, my wife, Madison. We'd been married for 6 years, and for the last 6 months, I felt like I was living with a roommate who couldn't stand the sound of my breathing. That morning, I came out of the cabin holding a cup of coffee, walking down the wooden steps with a yawn, still half asleep. I wasn't paying attention when I bumped into something, or rather, someone. It was Donald, her father. I accidentally stepped on his goddamn Italian leather shoes. He looked down at them like they were holy artifacts. Then his eyes, those judgmental, reptilian eyes, flashed with rage. Before I could even get a word out, his hand flew across my face with a crack so loud it startled a nearby flock of birds. "How dare you touch my shoes, you disgusting man," he screamed. Everyone turned to look. The whole family froze. "These shoes are worth more than you. Clean them. Now. Then get lost." I stood there, stunned, one cheek burning, heartbeat thudding like a war drum. I looked at Madison. Surely she would say something. But she didn't defend me. She didn't tell him he was out of line. No. She crossed her arms, rolled her eyes like a bratty teenager, and barked, apologized to him. Now, I swear to God, in that moment, something inside me snapped. Something permanent. I didn't say a word. I just turned around, walked back to our room, packed my bag, and drove 5 hours back home. Alone. And here's where it gets twisted. 3 days later, they came back from the trip, laughing like nothing happened. I had been quiet, observant, and I had time, too much time, to think. So I did some digging. Something wasn't right. It hadn't been for months. The distance, the coldness, the fake smiles, the constant phone hiding, the whispered calls at night. I remembered something strange from just before we left for the trip. Madison had a new work friend, some guy named Tyler. I'd seen his name pop up on her phone a few times. Once at 1:42 a.m., she claimed it was a group chat from work. I didn't press. I should have. So while she was off sipping wine and clinking glasses with her perfect family, I went full Sherlock. I hacked into our iCloud, synced her messages to an old iPad she forgot in my office drawer. And what I saw? There was no Tyler. There was Ty, a gym trainer from her yoga studio. Half her messages were deleted. But she didn't know the iCloud kept backups. There were photos of them, together, in his car, in his apartment, her in that red dress, the one she swore she wore for our anniversary dinner. There were texts. "God, I wish you were here instead of him. He's such a loser. I feel like I'm suffocating. You're the only one who makes me feel alive." She told him she was taking the trip to keep up appearances, but that when she got back, she'd handle it. Handle it? Like I was some chore. A stain she needed to wipe off her life. I stared at the screen, fingers trembling, my vision going dark around the edges. This wasn't just betrayal. It was mockery. It was evil dressed in Chanel perfume. When she walked through the door that evening, smiling like nothing happened, dragging her pink suitcase behind her, I didn't say a word. Not yet. I just said, "Hope the trip was nice." She blinked. "It was amazing, babe. The views were insane." I smiled. "Yeah, I bet. Your dad seemed to really enjoy himself." She laughed. "He did." I leaned in close. "Tell me something, Madison. Did Ty enjoy it too?" The color drained from her face like a faucet had been turned on under her skin. She froze. I didn't. I pulled out the iPad, opened the screen, and tapped the gallery. Her face twisted. I saw fear. Not regret. Not guilt. Fear. And it wasn't because she hurt me. It was because she was about to lose everything. She took a step back like the screen itself had just slapped her. "You went through my stuff?" she hissed, eyes darting to the door like someone might be listening. I didn't even blink. "You left your entire life on the cloud, Madison. That wasn't me going through your stuff. That was you leaving the door open with a sign that said, 'Cheater lives here.'" Her lips curled into that fake little smile she always used when she was cornered. "It's not what it looks like." "Oh, really?" I stepped closer. "Then what is it? Enlighten me. Because I'm looking at a half-naked selfie of you in his bathroom mirror. Was that part of a charity event? Or maybe a new yoga campaign?" She rolled her eyes and turned away like I was the one annoying her. "You're overreacting," she muttered. "It was just physical. It didn't mean anything. I laughed. Actually laughed. That ugly kind of laugh that comes out when your heart is crumbling, but your pride refuses to let you fall apart. You call this just physical? I tossed the iPad on the couch. You told him you loved him, that you wanted to run away with him, that I was holding you back. She folded her arms. Because you are. You're boring, Elijah. You're routine. Predictable. You go to work, you come home, you talk about bills and deadlines and your stupid fantasy football league. That's not a life. That's a prison. I stepped forward. Then why marry me? Why put on the white dress, take the vows, fake the tears, smile for the pictures? Why not just leave before you spread your legs for someone else? She didn't flinch. Not even a little. Because I thought you'd change, she said flatly. But you didn't. You stayed the same pathetic little man who lets my father slap him in front of everyone and still comes back for more. That one hit different. I clenched my fists, not because I was going to hit her, I never would, but because I needed something to hold on to before I lost myself. That slap, I said through my teeth, was the moment I realized something. That I married into a family that sees me as dirt. That I gave everything to a woman who wouldn't even raise her voice when her own husband was humiliated like a damn dog. She turned away, walked toward the hallway. Well, if you're done with your little speech, I'm tired. It's been a long day. I followed her. You're not sleeping in that bed. She turned around slowly. Excuse me. You heard me. You don't sleep there anymore. Not here. Not in this house. Not after what you did. She smirked. This is my house too, Elijah. Try to kick me out, and you'll see what a real court battle looks like. I paused, stared into those eyes I used to think were beautiful. All I saw now was venom. You're not even sorry. Why would I be? She snapped. You didn't catch me in bed with him. You caught some texts and pictures. Boo-hoo. Cry me a river. Something in my chest cracked. Not heartbreak. No, heartbreak happened when I found the messages. This was beyond that. This was the moment a man stops begging to be loved and starts remembering who the hell he is. You're disgusting, I whispered. You're not the woman I married. You're not even human anymore. You're just a parasite. She shrugged and turned her back to me. Call me what you want, but you'll never leave me. You don't have the balls. She didn't see it. She didn't see the bag behind the door. She didn't see the bank account I cleared that morning. She didn't know I'd already signed the papers, already filed, already changed the locks on the second apartment I rented across town. But she was about to. Because the moment she fell asleep that night, I walked into the bedroom, took one long last look at the woman I once thought I'd grow old with. Then I pulled out a white envelope from the drawer, placed it gently on her pillow, and walked out. Inside was a copy of the texts, a letter from my lawyer, and a note written in my hand. Keep the house. Keep the lies. Keep pretending. Just know this. You'll never see me crawl again. I shut the door behind me, and for the first time in years, I smiled. The next morning, she called me 23 times. I didn't pick up once. I sat in my new place, a small apartment on the edge of town, barely furnished, mattress on the floor, 2 mugs in the kitchen, and just watched the phone light up and go dark over and over again. It was like watching a fire alarm go off in a burning house I'd already walked out of. Around noon, she texted, "Where the hell are you? You can't just disappear like this. We need to talk. You're being childish." And finally, "Come back home, Elijah." Not "I'm sorry." Not "I messed up." Just commands, like I was some misbehaving pet that ran off without permission. She still didn't get it. By the second day, she stopped texting. I thought maybe she'd finally accepted that I was done, that it was over. But that would have been too simple. Instead, on day 3, I came back to the apartment from grabbing groceries and found her sitting on the floor outside my door, legs crossed, sunglasses on, like she was waiting for an Uber. I almost dropped the bags when I saw her. She stood up slow, dramatic, like a movie character. "Took you long enough. What are you doing here?" I asked, voice flat. She brushed past me, invited herself in like she still had the right. "You think you can humiliate me like that and just vanish?" I dropped the bags on the counter. "You humiliated yourself." I just turned the lights on. She took off her sunglasses and threw them on the table. "You're blowing this all out of proportion. You cheated. It was a mistake." "No. A mistake is buying the wrong brand of coffee. You had an affair. A planned, intentional, months-long affair. You called me a loser. You laughed behind my back. You let your family treat me like trash and joined in when it suited you." She opened her mouth, but I cut her off. "And you know what? I took it. For years, I took it. Every snide comment, every cold shoulder, every fake smile, every insult from your father, every pity hug from your mom. I swallowed it because I loved you, because I believed in us. Her face changed. Not softened, just shifted, like she was deciding on which mask to wear next. I came here to fix this, she said finally. I'm willing to work on it. No, you came here because I was the stable option. The fallback plan. Your gym boy fantasy isn't calling you back, is he? Her silence was the answer. That stung more than I expected. She wasn't here because she loved me. She was here because the other guy backed out. Because reality slapped her harder than her father slapped me. You think I didn't know he blocked you? I continued. You think I didn't see the desperate text you sent him when you got back from the trip? He used you, just like you used me. She blinked rapidly. Her arms were crossed now, her nails digging into her skin. You don't have to be cruel, she whispered. I almost laughed again. Cruel? You want to talk about Cruel? Cruel was watching me plan our anniversary while you were sneaking into his apartment. Cruel was smiling at me after I cooked dinner, then texting him, I wish I was in your bed right now. That's Cruel. Her voice cracked. I messed up, okay? I was stupid. No. You were selfish. Arrogant. You thought I'd never leave. That I'd just keep forgiving. She moved toward me, slow, eyes glassy. I don't want to lose you. Too late, I said. You lost me the second you told me to apologize to your father for stepping on his damn shoes. That one landed. Her lip quivered. You want to stay here tonight? I asked. Fine. But don't expect a bed. Don't expect forgiveness. Don't expect me. She stayed on the couch, and I locked my bedroom door. I didn't sleep. Just lay there, staring at the ceiling, wondering how many versions of my life died while I waited for her to love me again. The next morning, she was gone. No note. No goodbye. And for the first time in weeks, the silence felt like peace. A week passed. She didn't come back. No calls. No messages. Nothing. But I wasn't fooled by the silence. Madison wasn't the type to vanish quietly. She was plotting something. She always was. That woman could set fire to your life and then ask why you were sweating. I spent those days cleaning my mind like I was cleaning my apartment. I threw out everything that reminded me of her. The framed wedding photo where I looked like the happiest fool on earth. Her favorite wine glass. That hideous scented candle she insisted made the place feel luxurious. I even took the comforter to a dumpster across town. I didn't want a trace of her in my bed. Not even her ghost. But the real purge happened in my head. Every night, I replayed all the moments I'd ignored. Every time she brushed me off, laughed at my ideas, rolled her eyes when I talked about my dreams. Every time she chose her phone over my words. I thought I was healing. Then came the email. It was from a friend, Ben. We'd gone to college together, stayed loosely connected through poker nights and fantasy football. His message was short. Just 3 lines. Hey man, hate to be the one to say this, but I thought you should know. Madison's been telling people you abused her. She's saying that's why you left. I stared at the screen for a full minute, blinking, waiting for the words to rearrange themselves into something sane. She was doing what? My heart started pounding, not from heartbreak this time, but from pure rage. That woman wasn't just a liar. She was a full-blown monster. She couldn't take the fall, so she started throwing dirt. I called Ben. She's been saying it at her gym, he said. Told a few mutuals. Said you used to throw things. Said you got violent. I never even yelled at her. I said through gritted teeth. Not once. I know. That's why I'm telling you. That night, I didn't sleep. Again. But not from sadness. This time, it was strategy. I started collecting things. Messages. Screenshots. Old voicemails. Even receipts from the apartment lease I got before I left the house. I wanted every possible nail for her coffin. And then, 2 days later, she showed up again. Not at my door. At my job. I work in commercial design. Downtown office, clean desk, glass walls. Madison walked in like she owned the place. Heels clicking, fake smile on, wearing that same red lipstick she used to leave on another man's chest. Elijah, she said sweetly, ignoring the stares from my coworkers. Can we talk? I stood up slowly. You shouldn't be here. She leaned in. This will only take a minute. I walked her outside, down the concrete steps, into the parking lot behind the building. She flipped her hair. So, you've been ghosting me. You accused me of abuse. Her face twisted. I never said that. I just told people things were tense. You said I got violent. I said you were cold. That's not the same as. Stop. I raised a hand. You're not going to twist this. Not this time. She crossed her arms. Look, Elijah. I get it. You're hurt. But you're not exactly innocent here either. My jaw tightened. What does that mean? You left. You abandoned me in that house. Didn't even try to work it out. I laughed again. That hollow, angry laugh I was getting too good at. Work it out? After what I saw. After what you said to me on that trip. Her expression hardened. I didn't come here to fight. I came here to offer you a deal. I raised an eyebrow. A deal? You don't drag my name through the mud, she said, stepping closer. And I don't file for spousal support. And there it was. The real reason she came. Not for closure. Not for guilt. But money. She thought she still had leverage. I took a deep breath. I'm not dragging your name. I'm just protecting mine. You want to lie to people? Go ahead. But I've got receipts. I've got everything. You try to pull any legal tricks, I will bury you in paperwork so deep your next yoga class will be in court. Her mouth opened, then closed. Then she did something that truly stunned me. She smiled. Fine, she whispered. But don't think this is over. Oh, it is, I said, turning away. You just don't know it yet. As I walked back into the building, I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel relieved. I felt free, and that was more than enough. A week after that showdown in the parking lot, she stopped trying to contact me. No calls, no surprise visits, no fake emotional ambushes. For a moment, I started thinking maybe, she'd actually given up. But I should have known better. Madison never walks away without taking something with her. It started with a call from my bank. Mr. Hayes, we just wanted to confirm a wire transfer request made yesterday from your joint account ending in 3476. I froze. Joint account? Yes, the one listed under you and Mrs. Hayes. We closed that account. No, sir. It's still active. There's been no official documentation from both parties to dissolve access. She transferred $8,200. I sat there, gripping the phone so tight I thought it might snap in half. Put a freeze on the account. Immediately. Yes, sir. Madison had stolen from me. I wasn't even surprised. It wasn't just about money to her. It was about reminding me that she still had a hand on my throat. That no matter how far I ran, she could always tighten the grip. But I was ready this time. I went to my lawyer the next day. Freeze everything, I said. Every asset. Every account. Every paper with her name on it. I don't care if it's a damn magazine subscription. Cut it off. He nodded. You want to proceed with the divorce then? No, I said. I want to finish it. We filed. And like clockwork, Madison's true form emerged. First came the emails. Then the accusations. Then her lawyer, some smug-looking parasite who kept calling me Mr. Hayes in a tone like he was addressing a convicted criminal. They wanted the car. They wanted alimony. They wanted half my business. My business. The one I built from a coffee table and a busted laptop while she was out finding herself with Ty and whatever other gym freaks she bounced between. But I was ready. I had messages, photos, testimonies, even an audio clip. Madison had once left a voicemail on Ty's phone, drunk, sobbing about how Elijah doesn't even know I've been sleeping with you in our bed. Ty, being the genius he was, saved it. Somehow, it ended up in my hands. Game over. When we walked into mediation, she strutted in like she was walking a red carpet. Red lips, tight skirt, that same empty stare. She sat across from me, calm, composed, until my lawyer pulled out the folder. We didn't even have to open it. Just slid it across the table. Madison paled. Her lawyer opened it, read the first few lines, and his entire posture changed. They backed off. No alimony. No car. No business. She walked out without saying a word. And for the first time, her silence wasn't power. It was defeat. The next few days were weird. I wasn't happy. I wasn't broken. I just existed. I'd catch myself looking at the side of the bed where she used to sleep, expecting to hear her fake snore or see her scrolling through her phone with a smirk. But there was nothing. Silence. Stillness. One night, I drove past the old house. Just parked outside. Lights were off. Her car was gone. A neighbor walked by and stopped. You Elijah? He asked. I nodded. She moved out last night. Didn't say goodbye to anyone. Just packed up and left. Where to? He shrugged. Some guy with a black truck picked her up. Tattoos. Muscle shirt. Didn't look like the husband type. I smiled. Of course. She didn't change. She just found a new host. I drove home, opened the fridge, ate a cold slice of pizza in silence. And you know what? It was the best damn pizza I'd had in years. Because no one rolled their eyes. No one said, again. No one threw out my leftovers. I didn't need champagne or victory speeches. I just needed that one quiet moment where I knew. I got out. And I survived. 2 months passed. Just like that. And no, I didn't move on in the way people expect. I didn't get a new girlfriend, didn't start journaling my healing process, didn't sign up for some sunrise yoga bullshit. I just lived, breathed, slept, ate, worked. And weirdly enough, that was enough. But then came the message that nearly broke that peace. It was a Tuesday, midday. I just finished a pitch with a new client and was feeling, dare I say it, good. Until I opened my email and saw her name. Subject line, you should know. My stomach tightened. Against my better judgment, I clicked. Hey Elijah, I didn't want to text you because I knew you'd block me again. I just thought you should hear this from me before someone else tells you. I'm pregnant. It's not yours, obviously, but I wanted to tell you because I'm keeping it. And I've told my parents. They're excited. Weird, right? You don't have to respond. I just thought you should know. I stared at the screen for a long time. Not angry. Not even surprised. Just empty. Of course she was pregnant. Of course it wasn't mine. And of course she wanted me to know. It was her last little twist of the knife. One final, look what I have now, to remind me I wasn't invited to her next disaster. And yet, instead of rage, all I felt was a strange, bitter freedom. Because that child, that future, not my problem, not my weight to carry. I closed the laptop, went outside, took a walk through the park near my apartment, watched a kid feed pigeons with his dad, and I realized she never really wanted a life. She wanted a movie, drama, attention, plot twists, and she used everyone around her as extras in her own messed up script. But me? I'd left the set. A few days later, I ran into someone I hadn't seen in years, Sophie. We used to work together before she moved out west. She was in town visiting family, and we ended up grabbing coffee. She asked about Madison. I didn't tell her everything. Just said, she's someone I used to know. Someone I outgrew. Sophie smiled. You look lighter. Like you finally exhaled. And maybe I had. We sat in that cafe for hours. No pressure. No lies. No pretending to be something for someone who never wanted the real me. Later that night, I got home and found an old photo of me and Madison, one from when things still looked good. We were on a boat, sunglasses on, arms around each other, fake as hell. I deleted it. Not in anger. Just closure. She was gone. And what she left behind was ashes I didn't need to sweep up. Funny thing is, people always say you'll come out stronger after betrayal. I don't know if that's true, but you definitely come out smarter. Sharper. You stop ignoring the alarms. You stop begging people to treat you like you matter. You build your own peace. Brick by damn brick. And when someone tries to tear it down again, you don't scream. You don't beg. You just smile. And close the door. A few weeks later, I got a message from an unknown number. Hope you're well. Just wanted to say, I was wrong about you. I miss the way you used to care. Not many people care like that. No name. No punctuation. But I didn't need a signature. I could smell the desperation through the screen. It was Madison, trying to slip back in like a ghost who'd forgotten she was dead. I didn't reply. Not out of spite. I just didn't care anymore. Whatever spell she used to have on me had long since snapped. Her words meant as much to me now as the back of a cereal box. And I think that's what terrified her the most, being irrelevant. She'd rather be hated than forgotten. But I didn't even hate her anymore. I just looked back at that part of my life like you look at a house you used to rent. Cold, broken plumbing, and thank God you moved. A few nights after that, Ben invited me to a barbecue at his place. I almost said no. I wasn't in the mood for crowds or small talk. But something in me said, go. That night was simple. Good food, music humming in the background, beers cracking open, people laughing over dumb stories. I didn't have to explain anything to anyone. No one brought up Madison. It was the first social thing I'd done in months where I didn't feel like I was wearing a mask. I caught myself smiling, like genuinely smiling. That warm kind that creeps up when you're not performing, not pretending, just present. Toward the end of the night, as the fire pit flickered low, I stood off to the side, hands in my jacket pockets, watching the sparks float up. That's when Ben walked over, handed me another beer. He nudged me. You good, man? I nodded. Yeah, I think I'm finally good. He looked at me for a second. You were in deep, huh? Too deep, I said. Didn't even realize I was drowning. Ben nodded slowly. You know, people always act like walking away from someone is this big, dramatic explosion. But sometimes it's just closing a door and not looking back. Yeah, I said. Sometimes silence is the loudest freedom. We stood there for a while. No more words. Just firelight and the soft crackle of something new. The next morning, I went for a run through the old trail near the woods. The same trail Madison always complained about. Too muddy, too boring, too not her aesthetic. I ran hard, harder than I had in years, until my lungs burned and my legs felt like iron. And then I stopped, hands on knees, breath fogging the morning air. And I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't grieving. I wasn't trying to prove anything, or fix anything, or carry someone who never intended to walk beside me. I was just here, alive, and finally whole. If you've never had your world collapse under you, if you've never been lied to by someone who swore they'd protect your heart, then you don't know what it means to build from rubble. But if you have, then you know the truth. You don't heal by getting revenge. You heal by surviving so quietly that they wonder if they ever mattered at all. That was my victory. That was the final chapter. And I didn't need her name in it. A few months passed, and life just kept moving. Without fanfare, without drama, without her. I got back into my routine. Work, gym, quiet evenings. Weekends spent doing things I used to push aside. Cooking real meals. Reading books I bought years ago. Relearning how to enjoy my own company without needing someone to validate it. I didn't talk about Madison much anymore. Not because I was avoiding it, just because there wasn't anything left to say. She'd become background noise. A lesson, not a memory. Then, one morning, I walked past a mirror and didn't recognize myself, but in a good way. My face looked lighter. My eyes weren't constantly tired. I wasn't carrying that invisible weight on my shoulders anymore. I didn't have to brace myself for betrayal, for mood swings, for the 1,000 tiny cuts that come with being with someone who secretly resents you. I was me again. And you know what hit hardest? I didn't need revenge. I didn't need some grand moment where she regretted everything and begged to come back. I didn't need to hear her say sorry, because I'd already moved on. Not with someone else, just with myself. And that was enough. She'd probably go on making chaos in someone else's life. That wasn't my concern. She wasn't my responsibility anymore. I wasn't her fixer, her shield, her punching bag. She was gone. And in her place was something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. If you're reading this, and you're where I was, doubting yourself, questioning your worth, shrinking just to fit into someone else's broken mold, hear me when I say this. Leave. Leave even if your voice shakes. Even if you don't know what's next. Even if the pain screams louder than your logic. Because on the other side of betrayal isn't just survival. It's rebirth. You'll learn that love isn't supposed to feel like begging. That loyalty isn't something you should have to earn every day. And that respect, real respect, starts with how you treat yourself when no one else is watching. I didn't just walk away from Madison. I walked back to myself. And that was the real love story all along.